is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
We're number 4, and we're going to start it off in a first-class fashion with Ryan Vargas, baby. He drives the number 6 Camaro for JD Motorsports, and you can catch him with the Xfinity race this Saturday. There he is, ready to go. Ryan, how you feeling, my man? You feeling good? Can you hear us? You feeling good, Ryan? No audio? No audio? There we go. All right, no, we're not hearing him. No, we're not hearing you. We're not hearing you.
Can you hear me?
All right, there we go. I think I'm hearing some background noise. There we go. Ryan, I think you got it. You there?
Okay.
There we go. There we go. Don't you love live? See, that's what I love about live radio. It's raw. It's all natural. You don't sit up like
there we go. Can you hear me now?
I got you, Ryan. I got you, baby. There you go.
Okay.
This is the only time I can catch. This is the only time I can catch you. Any other time you're doing 200 miles an hour. I got no other chance to catch you any other time. So I'm glad I can catch up with you right now. How you feeling? You feeling good?
Man, if it means anything, hopefully getting the internet situation here sorted out is the most stressful part of my day. My gosh, I'm literally using my crew chief's hotspot because the internet at the track is either down or it's horrible because we're under like a lightning delay. It's storming absolutely massively outside, so you can probably hear it. But no, I'm just super excited. We got KSDT on the car. You were just talking with Jeff. We have you guys. The Big O Show's on the lower quarter panel. So welcome to NASCAR. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah, man. How about that I had half of my bachelor party at the Daytona 500. How about that?
Really?
Sterling Marlin was the winner back then, which today, by the way, Ryan, is my 28th wedding anniversary. So think about this. I'm talking to a race car driver. It's my wedding anniversary. 28 years ago, I was partying in Daytona, and I was in the center track, by the way. And I remember we were leaving the track and we were trying to get out of the center thing. And my buddy begs Ryan Petty to give him a tire. And Ryan Petty freaking lifts up the fence and rolls out a tire to him, and we take the tire, we take it home, and he still to this day has the tire with a glass table on top of it. So that's like the talking point now. It's Ryan Petty's tire, and it's a table. It's what it is. A glass table is what it is. So how about that? My life comes full circle 28 years later, and racing is still in there. How about a dude that spends half his bachelor party at the date? The other half, I'm not going to tell you where I was, okay? I'm not even going to tell my wife where I was, by the way. No, seriously. But there you go. You see? How about that?
No, that's awesome. I'm glad you had a good time. I know the 500 you're talking about. That was a classic right there. But man, no, it's just neat. Racing is such a fun sport. It's a fun sport to be involved with. I mean, you got to experience it, being in the infield, being able to check out the cars zooming by at 190, 200 mile an hour. It's unreal.
Yeah, I always tell people, Ryan, hockey and auto racing have one thing in common. You watch it on television, it's cool, that's fine. But when you go in person, it's a completely different experience. And you walk away with a different level of appreciation. And let me tell you, especially when you're inside the circle, that I don't mind sitting in the grandstands, but when you're inside the pits and you're able to see the race from there, and then you're getting into everything that's going on with the race, and all of the storylines, because that's the other thing that I like about NASCAR and all that, the storylines that come with it. So that's where I think racing really goes to another level when you're able to experience it live.
Yeah, I mean, racing, it's a lot of people look at it, it's like, okay, well, it's about the driver and how fast they can go. But no, there's like a team of people behind these cars. There's a team of people that put all their week's worth of effort into these race cars. So, a lot of big teams, they have a shop crew and a road crew. Our team, my shop crew is road crew. My car chief, Bird, he's up there, Case and Gabe. Spud's up here. Like, we all worked on these cars, and now we got to go out here and race and have ourselves a clean race. So it's neat seeing that. It's neat being in the middle of all that and learning about what makes each other tick and making these things happen.
So let me ask you something. What gave you the bug? Do you remember the watershed moment in your life when you
Oh
said,
yeah.
this is it? This is it. This is the ultimate high. I need to do this. What was that moment,
So
Ryan?
that moment was when I was a kid. I used to love waking up early in the morning watching Speed Channel when that was around. My parents used to take me to monster truck rallies, local short tracks. Um, I played other sports. I played baseball, basketball, soccer. I played the same position in all of them, that being bench. I was horrible and I did not like it. And so when I found out that, young kids can get into little race cars and, you know, maybe find a way to make a career out of it, it was something that I wanted to do. So a lot of begging and pleading led to me getting our first race car. We bought a little Bandolero race car, which runs a 30 horsepower Briggs and Stratton lawnmower motor in them. And we ran that for a few years, tied for the national title, and the rest is history.
So, the upbringing, were they freaking out on, my God, you're going to get behind the wheel of a car. It's dangerous. This, that. How was the reaction of that kind of stuff?
My mom did not like it. She every time I moved up a division, anytime we move up, it's a faster series. Anytime it's faster and faster and faster, more crazy, more people excited about it. There's just so much more involved in every series you move up. So I remember my first race at Kern County Raceway Park. It's a half-mile oval, lots of banking. We're going 110 miles an hour into the corners. And my mom sat in the trailer bawling her eyes out because she couldn't watch me practice. But by the end of the season, she was fine.
It's just, have you put your mom in a car?
I want to. I want to.
Okay.
I want to do one of those like ride-along experiences where she rides shotgun with me.
Because that might be the way you kind of get the scare out of her already. She'll stand there, and go, "Oh, I've done that. Okay, nah, he's all right. He took me in there." But that would be a trip for you, right? Because that's one of those things that you get to really like freak a loved one out. Have you been able to do that to anybody else? That you put them in the car and they were talking tough and all that, and then you saw them and they were probably wetting their pants by the end of the ride. Talk to me.
No, I haven't been able to do that yet. I actually was the person that rode shotgun once, though. I did that when I first moved up from that little Bandolero race car to a Irwindale Speedway. My home track has a truck series that they run, and I wanted to learn the track, so I rode shotgun with like the track champion in a two-seater, and that was like my first experience of going at that speed and kind of realizing like, holy cow, I have to learn how to drive 100-something miles an hour. And now now you look today, we're going to be going, 170, 180 miles an hour around this place, which is just nuts to think about.
What's the challenge for you now that if you don't get the practice runs and then you start with the timing right away, what's the adjustment for you because you have less room for error, correct?
Yeah, with practice and qualifying, I don't know exactly what the format would be today if practice were to rain out like it is right now. But the thing is, we've done so many races in the last 2 years due to the pandemic and COVID guidelines to where we've basically started the race with no practice or qualifying. So if it came down to a point where we all had to just start a race completely green with no practice, it's one of those things where it's like we don't like to do that, but we're so used to it at this point that it's almost like we don't mind it. Like it's just it sometimes in some circumstances it's almost better to do that. But I know here with the track being totally resurfaced, you can almost see the banking in the background, how steep it is. They totally changed the dynamics of this place. So practice is going to be important here.
Yeah, definitely, because obviously you've got to pick up the quirks of the track compared to how it was before, right? Because your muscle memory has to then be retaught, right? Is that one of those things?
Yeah, and the way they designed this track, they essentially designed it with the intention of us being able to hold it wide open around here. So we're going to go in these corners, and where we're lifting at, like 100 yards before the corner or 100 feet before the corner, now we're having to tell ourselves, okay, now don't lift at all, and it will stick.
Right.
So that's going to be something that just a lot of people get used to. There's some changes with the Engine package for this weekend's race as well. So that's another big thing. Less horsepower, which means less straightaway speed, but more corner speed. So bunch of different things going into this race.
Ryan Vargas, by the way, joining us, and you can see him this weekend in the Xfinity race on Saturday in the number 6 Chevrolet Camaro, JD Motorsports. Ryan, you can also follow him on social media. Your handle, Ryan Vargas _23, correct? Is that what it is?
Yep, that's my handles.
Now, was it 23 for Jordan?
No, 23 was my car number growing up.
Oh, your car number growing up? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
okay.
My original car number.
Okay, so why 20? Why 23? What was the deal? Aren't you also born on the 23rd?
Yep, September 23rd. So
yeah, I know, because you and I are Libras. You're September 23rd. I'm October 1st.
There you go. I mean, we're right by each other.
That's right. That's right. So why 23? What's the deal behind it if it wasn't your birth date?
I mean, at the time there wasn't a 23 car number. Not many people ran the 23, and I just really liked it. I thought the number, was looked good. It was something that was just kind of close to me. So I was like, let's be the odd one out and run 23.
I know that race car drivers, as they get to this point where you're racing in different types of series and different types of cars and those kind of things. So let me ask you out of fun, because we see all kinds of racing on television, and to kind of bring it to a movie, we go Tokyo drifting. Did you ever do any of those that you got to be Tokyo drifting all over the damn track?
We don't do that necessarily in our series. However,
I know not in your series, but in prior series, getting to that, did you have to do any of those kind of funky races?
No, you mainly do that kind of stuff to try and make sure you don't crash. But NASCAR is doing a little bit of dirt racing where you have to hang the car sideways. So you do have to essentially drift it. So I guess you could say that's something that I may have to look forward to here soon.
Is that fun? That kind of stuff? Yeah. Is that stressful? Is that how difficult is that stuff? I mean, because that seems like it's like, dude, if you don't handle it the right way, you're gonna lose it like within a millisecond.
Well, I mean, for us, whenever a car is harder to drive, like, in terms of like how much horsepower it has, how difficult the track is, we love that. Like Atlanta, before it was repaved last year, this place was bumpy. It was aged, a lot of cracks, a lot of a lot of seams. You had to maneuver your way through. So it was a very difficult racetrack, but it was the driver favorite, and it was a fan favorite because of that. Obviously, the surface was a little past, being able to consistently, be raced on. So they had to redo it. So now it is what it is today. But you look at some of the other tracks that have aged. You look at Vegas, it's starting to age. Kansas, it's starting to age. And now the grooves are widening out. As tracks get older, you can essentially find new lines, on them. So whenever you're able to really learn to hang these cars out and drive almost sideways, it's a blast.
All right, so there are adjectives to describe what you need to be a race car driver. And we can say it's guts. We can say cojones. We can describe it in so many different ways. The edge you have to have. I can also say most of you guys are just freaking crazy. You know what I mean? You're going 200 miles an hour, and you're half an inch next to another guy that can just tap you, and you can just go up in the air and flip 86 times. So, what would you describe that thing that all of you have to have in order to stay sane because the rest of us going at that speed, we're going out of our minds. We're getting nervous. You must compartmentalize all of that, and you've got to put all that fear away. So what's the edge you got to have? How would you describe it?
I would say trust, trust in your equipment, trust in yourself as in your ability, as well as some of the cars around you. You could find yourself in situations where you're about to be 3 or 4 wide. That's where the cars are, lined up next to it, boom, 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 boom. And so you're having to figure out, okay, do I need to be in this tight pack on lap 20 of a 300 lap race? You know what I mean? It's a lot of give and take, how much you can analyze the situation and get yourself out of there if needed. So that's a big thing. The trust factor is big.
All right, so when I go traveling, nothing against Tom Bodette, but I'm not staying at Motel 6. I'm going to stay in a decent hotel. There's a standard set. I want to take the wife out to a restaurant. I'm not taking her out to some little place. So you have a standard for life. You get used to it, right? So let me ask you something. How in the hell do race car drivers ever drive normal cars? Like, how the hell do you deal with red lights and stop signs and yield and all that kind of stuff? And you've got a speed at 30 miles an hour and you've got a school zone at 15. Now, I can understand the school zone because you guys don't really want to run over kids and this isn't, Death Race 2000. But how do you deal with just driving in normal conditions and especially with bad drivers all over the place? Because you just talked about trusting the other drivers. I don't trust a damn driver that's around me in these streets. So how do you
Yeah.
even deal with normal driving?
Well, the thing is like when you're on a racetrack, you have everyone's out there with the same specific goal. Everybody has the same destination. You know what I mean? Everyone's going the same route around. So you're able to trust there. On the street, you won't see me really driving all over, driving fast or anything like that. I abuse cruise control. I have one speeding ticket to my name, and it's simply because I just didn't know what the speed limit was.
Well, you thought it had a third digit. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Somebody spray painted a third digit and it tricked you. And you said,
I
no,
thought it was
it's
160, not
135. I saw it. No, sir, it's 35. And you just, that's it's one of those things that you thought it was the Autobahn, right? That's probably what you told the police officer, right? Have you been
Easy
on
mistake,
the Have you been on the Autobahn?
I have not been on an Autobahn. I haven't been out of the country before. I want to go travel. I want to travel around and find some of these, there's a lot of fantastic racing facilities outside of the U.S. Formula One races at some spectacular tracks, and I'd love to see some of those places. Monza being one of them.
I'm 18. Okay. I go to Europe with my dad and his wife, and we get on the Autobahn. Now, mind you, I'm in a Ford Fiesta, which is like, you wouldn't know what a Ford Fiesta is, but it's like a 4-cylinder type car, like a Corolla or something like that back in the day. But it is in Europe. So it's 3 people, like 5 pieces of luggage, and I'm doing 120 miles an hour. Okay. And I'm having a blast because, the old man's letting me drive and on the Autobahn and I can drive whatever. And so this is the whole, that's everything. The Fiesta, I mean, it's floored all the way. I'm doing 120. A dude passes me by with his wife in a BMW. He's smoking a pipe. She's putting on makeup and they're doing at least 150. Okay.
Yep.
And then I'm just driving at 120. I'm wishing I could go faster. And these bikes just pass me by. It's like I'm doing 120. They must have been doing 170, 180, 190. So, the lesson is, yes, you got to go to the Autobahn one day. And I don't know how it is now. Remember, I'm 55 now. I was 18 when I did that. Okay. So that was a long time ago. But still, I think it's still the same thing in the Autobahn, right? I think it's still no speed limit.
Yeah, I don't think there's a speed limit there.
Yeah, so that's worth just flying over there just so you can have some fun on the Autobahn. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Rent a Lamborghini or something like that and just take off, dude. It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. I'd love to take like a muscle car. Like I'd like to get in a Chevy Camaro and let that thing eat.
There you go. Ooh, get a Camaro. I love those new. What I love about the new Chevy Camaros is that it has the old style look. Because I'm going to be the old man on the lawn now. Older cars had more character. They had more flair. They had more curves to it than nowadays. Nowadays they're kind of boxy. But I love that the Camaro, they went back old school with that one and gave it a little old school flair. That's nice. Is that what you got at home?
No, I can't afford that. I have a Chevy Cruze.
Yeah, you'll probably have more tickets too if you had that Camaro too. That's the other thing.
Maybe, who knows?
All right, so give us a scouting report. What are we going to see on Saturday? All right, walk us through it, Ryan.
Well, Saturday is going to be an interesting race. Like I said, we're going to be able to go around this place wide open. You know, they're going to have restrictor plates on the cars. We're going to be the track has a lot of banking. It's brand new pavement, so it's going to have a lot of grip. I think you're going to see a lot of drivers on the absolute ragged edge, making some really aggressive moves. It's either going to be one of two things. It's going to be everybody's going to just be riding and trying to be safe, or they're going to start getting real racy up front, and it's going to get a little interesting. And it's going to be about how we can get there to the end.
How would we describe Ryan Vargas, the racer? Are you an aggressive racer? How would you describe yourself?
Aggressive when needed to. I kind of understand that, like, when it's the first 2/3 of a race, there's really no need for me to go out there and, you know, muscle guys out of the way, or, you know, find myself, like I said earlier, in the middle of three and four wide situations that I don't need to be in. Because at the end of the day, we got to use these cars again. I got to use this. You know, I know this car's a little bit of a different situation, but, you know, when we wrecked our Vegas car, that's our primary mile and a half car. So now we got to worry about fixing it. So we don't have stuff to just throw away like that. So it's all about being smart and being there at the end.
Yeah, pacing early and then take your chances late is what you're saying, right?
What was that?
Pace yourself early,
Yeah.
take chances late is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really about, like I said, being there at the end. Because if you're never going to be able to get the results you need if you're wrecked or if you're in the garage. Like, there's no reason to do that, especially when you know, like I said, we don't have, you know, a shop crew and a track crew. We have, like, my entire crew is in this van right now. We all rode here together, so it's a great feeling to kind of know that when you bring a car home in one piece, regardless of the day you have, you have something to build upon and work on for the next race.
All right. By the way, if you win it, you know, you got to find a way to put our logo on the car again somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I mean, if we were to win with the big O, big O logo, I mean, I feel like every race. Good luck.
There you go. I love it. All right, Ryan Vargas, we got to cheer for him. The number 6 Chevrolet Camaro, JD Motorsports. Ryan, we'll be cheering for you on Saturday, my friend. I appreciate you, man. Look forward to meeting you when you come on down to Homestead.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Sorry for all the technical difficulties.
Oh, dude, your Wi-Fi kicked. By the way, I forgot to tell you. I forgot who you said whose Wi-Fi this is. It kicked ass, dude. It was great.
My crew chief. He's right here. He's right here next to me.
Well, then don't ever fire him, because if he can come through with Wi-Fi, he'll do your car fine, bro. Don't worry about it.
Absolutely.
Wi-Fi is a hell of a lot harder. Trust me. You're good. You're good, baby. All right. Take it easy, Ryan.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You got it. There you go. Ryan Vargas, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Those are some brave individuals. Those are some brave individuals, bro. To be going that speed. Ugh, that is crazy, man. And it's fun.